So after receiving FDA approval of the emergency use approval, CEMI actually collapses into the pre-market and even the rest of the day, slightly sitting sideways, almost doing a little curl, and it almost looks like it wants to reverse. So before we jump into this chart and I explain everything that's going on, because this stock even has earnings coming up, it's so important to pay close attention to the price action and be aware that this is all speculative and there's a lot going on at the same time. So before we jump into it, I want to say welcome to all the first time viewers and investors. Welcome to the channel. Invest for Tomorrow. To all the subscribers, welcome back. And all I ask for in return is for you to smash that like button to let me know you watch this video. It helps out the YouTube channel and lets me know you appreciate the time and effort I put into making these videos. So if you could just hit that thumbs up, I appreciate it a lot. Thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. So CEMI, Chem Biodiagnostics Inc. actually had the news come out yesterday that it actually had the FDA emergency use NOD for its COVID-19 antibody test. This was huge because they got rejected back in June. If you go back in time and you look up more information on this and on the stock, in June 17th, around that time, they got rejected by the FDA for emergency use approval, and now they're actually being used because of the emergency use approval here in the US markets, and they had large orders being done over in Brazil and other places internationally. So this is a huge move for them. Okay, that's the first thing that made the stock actually move. And if you think about it, it could have quote unquote kind of been priced in. I wasn't going to FOMO. It fell downwards and it kind of found a support here right at this point, a little bit below 332. The lows were 328 and it bounced back up and it recently hit 346, right? And it's kind of just sitting here with a little bit of a curl, almost like it wants to form a reversal and kind of just sitting sideways here of a consolidation period. If it can continue like that and not go much lower, this could be a sign of strength until the next catalyst that pulls it upwards. The other thing that's coming is earnings, okay? Here it shows on this platform an estimate of minus 0.37, and I have an article to share with you guys what's expected and how to look at this moving forward. I mean, they've had a lot of revenue coming in because of large orders. We're going to just have to see if it's going to report in this earnings or if it's going to be in a future earnings, right? So this stock also, I talked yesterday about how it moves on news, right? We've seen how volatile it could get and how much it moves because of news and how quickly it moves downwards. You could see how fast it fell. The only thing right now showing some strength is the fact that this article is coming from one source only right now, and no one else is really talking about it, okay? I think it's so important for investors to be aware that this is probably one of those opportunities where you know the news before the news, and if you get in early, quote unquote, into a speculative play, right? Because this is speculative right now, and if it doesn't go mainstream, then it might just be what we saw, right? But if it goes mainstream, it's like knowing the news before the news. So it is something to watch, pay close attention to, and be aware this is a penny stock that's very volatile and has a lot of potential if this actually becomes mainstream and more investors become aware of this information, because like I said, this is huge. At the same time, earnings is happening, right? So they also stated here how the stock is moving because they received a 4 million HIV test purchase order back on the 22nd and also received a huge COVID-19 test kit order on the 21st of 28.3 million. So there's a lot of potential here of a surprise earnings beat if this is all being calculated into the most recent net profit and also revenue. Now here you could see the expectations for tomorrow. So this is pretty close to what the other platform was saying of minus 0.37. Here it shows 0.36, right? Analysis predict the loss per share of 0.36, but that's opposed to the losses of 0.42 in the same quarter of the previous year. So that's going to be year over year growth. Even though it's still a loss, it's growth because it could be a surprise beat from last year to this year of about 0.06. Now, if it even beats beyond the 0.36, it might be even a larger opportunity of an earnings beat, quote unquote. Even though it's not positive, it's beating expectations by a certain amount. It says here that Wall Street is expecting the company to report 7 million, an increase of 36.9, basically if you just round that up to 37% over the prior year's quarter. So year over year numbers are looking pretty interesting and pretty strong, and it could continue, especially after this information. If it turns out to be true, it goes mainstream. It's an opening of more revenue for the company and growth and expansion. So CEMI right now, yes, it jumped up, pulled back, and it's looking like it's trying to reverse. We're going to have to see how this does going into earnings. If this actually starts to build a staircase effect towards earnings, it could all be priced in the near future. But if this kind of sits sideways and then it takes off after earnings and the day after earnings, then it's actually taking that catalyst and things are starting to price in after that. So tomorrow's going to be a pivotal moment for this stock and everything with the technicals and everything going on with the stock. Like I stated, it's a lot of things at once. And this is one of those opportunities where you can call it knowing the news before the news if this actually goes mainstream, because this is only on one single platform. And the only way you can search this up and find it on any Google or search engine, you have to write out this whole entire wording here of this article to actually have it pull up. So if you want to pause it, write it down and search it, you'll find it. But if you just try to find CEMI Stock, FDA emergency use approval for its COVID-19 antibody test, you won't find it. But if you write the whole entire article heading, you may find it, because that's how I was able to find it. Thanks to one of the members over at the Discord mentioned it as well. Again, shout out to them. And we need to watch this carefully. This is speculative. I did state that yesterday, and we've seen how volatile it is. So right now, the support is 328, and the first resistance level that needs to be broken through is 346. If 346 is broken through, the next point of reference I would watch is 367, and the highest point of the day of $4 to see if this can continue pushing higher to new resistance levels. Now, if 328 gets broken through, the next point of reference is 311, and then all the way down here at 283 before the catalyst started to run. I look forward to seeing your thoughts and how you feel about this. Did you watch it today? Did you do further due diligence? How are you feeling about earnings and also this news about the emergency use approval? Now, I have a ticker symbol to share with you guys that I won't want you to miss. It's definitely looking like an opportunity based off the charts. And I have the ticker symbols to share with you guys that I mentioned this morning over at the Discord. And if that's something that interests you and you want to become part of, you're more than welcome to join us. The link is down below in the description to the Discord. And we look forward to having you join us. You'll become part of a growing community of investors, all looking to learn and grow together. Stay tuned for the information and the ticker symbols I have for you. As always, let's make some money. So the ticker symbol I want to share with you guys is one that I've talked about before, and I'm really liking the strength that it has. And if it continues to go lower, the opportunity is becoming even larger. So we're going to look at that chart in just a moment. But before we do, I want to share with you guys the opportunities I mentioned this morning over at the Discord. And if that's something that interests you and you want to become part of, you're more than welcome to join us. The link is down below in the description to the Discord. And by joining, you'll become part of a growing community of investors, all looking to learn and grow together. So here we are with BYSI. That was one of them. WHLR and ATHE. Now BYSI turned out to be the home run of the day, but it didn't move like a typical stock would, right? Right after that bell, it got halted on the way down, and I stated that's a sign of major outflow. I will watch with caution, and I stated that it's moving pretty fast in the pre-market, and I was going to watch it for a possible pullback. If not, I wasn't going to touch it. So we are going to look at these charts here, how they reacted and how it went. And by the way, ATHE still gave us a nice 5 to 10% opportunity, which is a realistic expectation. But let's look at this home run here. So BYSI pulled back pretty hard towards the bell, jumped up a nice 5 to 10%, pulled back again, and just a matter of 30 minutes, it jumped up nearly 30 to 40%, pulled back down again, and it actually jumped up to a highest point of 40% plus, almost reaching 50% plus on the day. This was a phenomenal turnout, but it didn't move as fast as we typically would see a stock move, and it was very volatile, and it was falling pretty fast. As I stated, I was going to watch it with caution. It halted on the way down, jumped up, and continued to go lower, and then it started to pull back up, and it got halted here, pulled back down, and the rest of the day it carried momentum. So very interesting stock, how it moved and how it played out. Now, WHLR, we started watching this one pretty early on in the pre-market. After jumping and pulling back at $4 it was sitting, it jumped up nearly almost 10%. It reached about a 5 to 10% opportunity, pulled back down, and took off for a highest point of 15% plus, guys. So if you want to know what stocks I watch daily and become part of the community with the other members and a growing community of investors all looking to learn and grow together, you're more than welcome to join us. The link is down below in the description, and we look forward to having you join us over at the Discord. So what's the ticker symbol you want to add to your watch list? That's GNOG, Golden Nugget Online Gaming. This stock has been expanding, growing through the volatility. There's a lot of pressure pushing it to the downside, and earnings, right, is pretty positive for 2020. Now 2021, it's still pushing through for Q1. We're going to have to see if it can continue this positivity of growth and positive net income and earnings and revenue. And if that continues to grow, that will reflect at some point in the stock's price. That's something that I really like about the business model, as well as the stock is going lower again, right? It's been consolidating here with volatility between $11 and nearly $12 and some change. And now it's pulling back down, sitting at $11.37. And the lowest point that we've seen in this whole entire bearish run and bounce back up and where it's at now is down here at 10.09. So the lower this goes, the bigger the opportunity. And if you look up analysis price target ratings, they're pointing this one to the upside. And it's definitely something to do further due diligence on, further research to understand the company and what's so attractive about it. But just based off the technicals right now, forget about the fundamentals, but just the technicals in the chart, it's been showing strength, even though it pulled upwards to almost $15 and pulled back down. It hasn't reached the 10s, and the closer it gets to $10, and if it even breaks below it, if we were to have a correction or a pullback in the overall markets, the opportunity is becoming even larger. As always, this is not financial advice. This is just me enlightening you guys on the stocks I'm watching and why I'm watching them. And if you learned something new, don't forget to subscribe and click that like button to let me know you watch this video. Helps out the YouTube channel. I really appreciate it. Can't thank you enough. And as always, let's make some money.